Hello my loyal companions, welcome back to the channel and to another episode of Rogue Revealed, the series where I take you through everything you need to know about Rogue Company. And in today's episode I'm going to be going over the 5 tips to improve your attacking when playing Demolition. Yesterday's video was all about defending tips and I said if you get to 10 likes on that I'll give you 5 more tips, so make sure you give 10 likes on this video as well to get 5 more attacking tips sometime in the future. Basically, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel and let's get into the video. So when you're attacking in Rogue Company, you have the benefit of having your entire team coordinated on the same thing, not being split across multiple sites, because you can all coordinate where you want to go. The disadvantage you have though is that you don't have the same positioning as the enemy teams, normally with some high ground that they have at defense or just some good third person peeking. You have to put yourself at a bit more risk when attacking a site. These 5 tips will really help focus on your positioning and try and get you to win more rounds by outplaying and outsmarting your enemies. We're going to start tip number 1 off with looking at what side of the map that you want to go to, whether you want A side, B side or a mid rush. Generally speaking, you're going to want some kind of combination of a one side rush and a bit of a mid flank as well, but it kind of depends on the map and this is what you need to get used to through experience. Knowing the maps, you'll be able to determine whether you think A side is a better push or whether B side is a better push. For example, if you take a map like Canals, if you're on attacking side, generally I think going down the B route is easier because when you go down A side into those small rooms, you're really funneling yourself and leaving yourself open for an easy flank. By going down B route, you have a few more options of the way you can approach it and a bit more maneuverability to then push through. Also, people don't tend to focus B side as much, so it tends to be an easier stomp. Getting comfortable and getting experience with the different maps will help you know which side of the map is probably best for you to push, just based off logistics. But that does lead into tip number 2, which is to understand which rogue is best at which side of the map and generally what your team comp is better at achieving. If your team comp consists of a Demon, a Glitch and a Scorch, you're going to be wanting to fight these close quarter combats with narrow passages where you can go in, hard breach with Demon and Glitch, then run in there with the SMGs and absolutely melt to take control of the bomb site. If you're playing with rogues such as Dallas, Talon or Saint, you'll want to be playing around these longer range side of the maps a little bit more, particularly if you're using the DMRs in these cases. So perhaps in that instance you want to be looking at the side of the map with longer lines of sight or even go down mid and try and coordinate your team that way. Likewise, you want to be thinking about what abilities are most useful in certain circumstances. For example, if you're running someone like a Lance or a Shack, you know your role is to be that kind of flanker and using Lance's ability to get there quickly would be the most advantageous thing to do by probably going down mid or going around the really long way going to the other bomb site, but that can put you at risk as well. Just understanding what your rogue does, what their abilities and weapons are most useful for, will help you determine which side of the map you should be going to as well. My third tip for you is maybe one of the most difficult to get right, and that is communication and teamwork. It was put to me really well by Maru Watt earlier, and he said whatever the call your team makes, you just need to commit to it, even if it's the wrong call. This is so true. Even if you think that there could be a better thing to do, the worst thing you can do on attack is split up, because then you're losing your only advantage on the attacking side, and that is moving as a team unit. When you're on comms, it's very easy to communicate what you want to do. You'll figure out a push route, figure out who goes where, and utilize yourselves most effectively. When you're not on comms, you really need to be using the ping system or voice chat if you do have it enabled to try and get your team to work around as best as possible. You really want to make sure your team is sticking together, moving around in pairs at the minimum, and utilizing you want to be using your team's only advantage, which is sticking together, ideally in pairs at the very minimum, although occasionally you can get those rogues who are better at flanking alone. Just commit to whatever it is your team decides to do, and if you're the solo player and you see the 3 players all going one way, just go with them, try and adapt your plan according to what they're doing. Even if you know best, it's probably better just to stick with the team in this sense, just to get the win. My next tip for you is to utilize the flight paths, that big smoke trail that comes behind you when you leave the plane. Good defending teams, such as the ones who watched my video from yesterday, will know to look at those flight paths to try and gauge where you're going, and what you need to do is try and bait them out. You can do this a few ways. Either you can get the whole team to bait one side, the way you're not going, and then quick switch at the end to go to the other side that you are actually planning on attacking. That is the most obvious one. Some other ones that you can do that are a bit more unique are have all of your team go to different locations and then maybe have a bit of a slower rotation to the one you want. And then the other one you can do, and the one I find most fun, is to do a bait and switch and back. What I mean by this is, say that your intention is to attack the A side. So what you do is you fly towards A side. Then just when you know they can still see you, you all switch to the B side, baiting them out to make them think that you are actually going to B side and you faked A. But then at the very last minute, you go back to A and that will completely throw them off. They'll have no idea where you're actually going, and it can be really effective. The general idea though is to use your flight path as best as you can and try and use it. The reason they're in the game is because it is a tactical thing that you can play around, and you may as well use that. My final tip for you is to be adaptable. There is no point punching a brick wall, and teams that are really good at defending will be that kind of brick wall that will be really hard to breach. If you would like some tips of how to get through those kind of brick walls and hard breach comps, then like the video and I'll put out 5 more tips later on. But you need to know at the very end of the day to be adaptable to a situation. If you've gone to a site and you just can't get through, they're really holding you down, they're taking pot shots, you've had to revive a teammate once or twice, and you know you're just not getting through, adapt, reposition, change route, and mix it up. This also applies to allowing another teammate to try and get a flank off. Maybe 2 teammates go one way while 2 people still try and fake breach it, while the other team try and reposition. No matter what, you have to be adaptable in these situations. You have to adjust your plan. This isn't a strict, this is what we're doing, and if this doesn't work, we fail. No, you need to be adaptable. The best players in this game are ones who can change up what they want to do and maneuver around the map and reposition really well. As I said in my defending video, positioning, rotations are really important when defending so that you know you can group up and defend a site, but it works in attack to change the bomb site and allow yourself to get an opening, get the bomb down, and then you have the advantage in the game. Okay then guys, that takes us to the end of the video, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more content, and also follow me on twitch.tv/RadStarGaming to see live game commentaries and guides. Other than that guys, I hope you have a fantastic day and I hope these tips were helpful. Remember, be loyal, be brave, be relentless, and I'll see you in the next video.